Hi everyone, welcome to week 2 of English 97. We're going to talk today about going from pre-writing that we did last week to actually drafting an essay draft that'll be due this coming weekend. So let's go ahead and get started. A couple reminders though before we get into drafting our literary experiences. I wanted to remind everyone that when you email me, I need a few things. Make sure that you have your name and the class that you are enrolled in. So for you guys, that means email me and say, hi, I'm in your English 97 IN 01 course, and I have a question about this assignment. I get a lot of emails like the one below that says, hi, Professor Beauville, I am unable to locate where chapters 1 and 2 are on Blackboard. Can you please assist me with this? And my response here, I have a few questions. Which class of mine are you in? The chapters of what textbook are you talking about? And when do you need me to get back to you? How can I help? And then make sure that you have a greeting and a signature like is shown here. This really helps me to just kind of stay on top of responding to you all and also to make sure our communication is more efficient. I'm also going to make a spot in Blackboard where you can ask each other questions for our course, and I hope that this will help to sort of take some of, if you have the same question as someone else that's emailed me, maybe this will help us to kind of move forward. So the other thing I'd like you to do, probably around, I would say Wednesday this week, is to check my comments on your pre-writing assignment. So you all turned in a pre-writing for me last week, and I should be able to give feedback to you on those by Wednesday. I am, knock on wood, fingers crossed. Look at my comments, and then that will help you in kind of working on your draft. The assignments that we have for this week are very similar to week 1. We have discussion board number 2. This one is due on Thursday, and then make sure that you respond to 2 classmates for full credit on that assignment. And then your essay 1 draft is due Sunday. So what we did in week 1 was to essentially just get ideas for your essay before you start writing it. What's due this week is a copy of the actual essay. But when I talk about a draft, I mean that this doesn't have to be perfect. It is a complete but imperfect version of your writing on your topic. We're going to look at some examples and kind of talk about tips for this as well. So the first thing you want to think about when you're drafting is make sure that you put your essay in MLA format. So this means that you want to make sure you have 12-point font, your essay is double spaced, that you have a header like the one I have here. You want to have your name, then my name, then the course number, then the date, and a title centered below that. In the upper right-hand corner, you'll put your last name and then page numbers. And if you're not really sure how to do this, I will also post a template that you can use, and all you have to do is type in your information. You can also Google MLA paper template, and that should come up. You can look under our course. There should be a video kind of showing you how to do this. But really, it's just a way to kind of formalize your essay. The next thing you want to think about is, how do I actually write my draft? These are some tips from page 9 of our textbook, which is one of your readings for this week. And these are all really great ideas for writing about your literary experience. A few things. Make sure that you're staying on track as you write. So kind of reread as you go. But if you're one of those people that feels like you delete everything and then start over and start over and start over, try not to do that. Write a whole paragraph, then reread it. But really, you can delete, some parts of it, but try and get yourself out of that critical mindset at this point. We just want words on the page. Make sure you're giving background information to your reader. Focus on the impact of your experience. Not just the experience itself, but how did it change you? Something that can do really well to add length is including your thoughts or feelings or any things people said to you or you said to other people that can really add length to your work. And then make sure that you end with what happened as a result. Again, how did this experience impact you as a person, as a writer, as a student? And then make sure you think about your audience. You're writing to people in our class who don't know you personally, maybe don't know about your experiences, so probably the more detail, the better. Excuse me. So one of the readings we had for last week, let me pull up Blackboard. One of the readings we had last week was called Proficiency by Shannon Nichols. And this essay was an example of what you might do for your draft. So hopefully, having looked this over, you can see that this person wrote about how they took this proficiency test and how it kind of changed how they felt about themselves. So their thesis here, their main point says, I was smart and I knew it. That is, until I got the results of the proficiency test. So then the rest of their essay talks about the test itself, how much it kind of changed their perception of reading and writing. One thing you can do to kind of help you stay on track is look at how this writer starts the first sentence of each paragraph. They said, the first time I took the 9th grade proficiency test was in March of 8th grade. Down here they say, although the test was challenging, I was sure I had passed every part. Until that time, I loved reading and writing as much as I loved math. Finally, I got over it and decided it was no big deal. I decided to quit trying so hard. And then this experience showed me just how differently my writing could be judged. So even just hearing those initial sentences, I can understand where their ideas are going. So this is a great example of a draft. If you're not really sure what you should be talking about or how it should look, this is in MLA format as well. So hopefully by the end of this week, we will come up with 2 to 3 pages on your experience that look similar. I don't want you to use the writing here, but I want you to understand just what it might look like. So some other ideas on how you go from pre-writing to your draft. Make a quick outline. I'll walk you through one of mine in a second. Or copy and paste from your pre-writing to kind of get you started. There are also examples in our textbook that can help in kind of getting your ideas going. So for example, this is an outline that I made about a English class I had in high school. So my main idea is that I thought I was a good writer until I had Miss Baker my senior year. And then I made some, just kind of a quick sort of, here's what ideas I might talk about first. Getting a D on our final essay and having to write it again. Being told I used the word that and periods incorrectly. Feeling like I wasn't good enough. I got to college club of classes and realized I still had a lot to learn. But at the end of college, I was told by my communication advisor that I wrote at a graduate level when I was in college, and I remember just being so proud of myself, having worked so hard on my writing. But it was initially Miss Baker's class that sort of taught me that, you know, maybe I wasn't as good as I thought, and that reading and writing always needs improving. So this is rough, obviously. This may not be what I end up writing about, but it's a good way to get organized, and now I can use these ideas when I actually go to write my paper. So if you find yourself out of ideas, pause, stop, make an outline, and then come back to your essay. This will help you in feeling like you need to start over. Another thing I wanted to mention is the idea of paragraphing. So when we looked at that Shannon Nichols example here, what you can see by paragraph, I mean this first paragraph has an indentation here and then skips a line to the next paragraph. So this tells me this whole paragraph is one idea. The next one is a new idea. So a lot of times, especially on our first essay, I will notice that students will write just one big long block of text. And the reason that isn't always the best is because your writing needs to be broken up so that your reader can follow what you're saying. So as you're writing your essay, make sure that you hit enter and then tab to start a new paragraph. Anytime you change to a new idea or a new point, make a new paragraph. I would rather have too many paragraphs than not enough. Make sure that that first sentence of each paragraph kind of tells me what you're going to talk about next. So like we looked at with that proficiency example, the first sentence should tell me what that paragraph is about. All right. So if I have an outline, these would all be the first sentence of each of my paragraphs, and then I can just add to them. This is a really good way to kind of build from your pre-writing to an actual essay. And again, if you have problems or if you're not sure, our textbook has some great examples of essays to look at, and also the reading for this week will really help. All right, so next week we will work on revising, which is really more, not nitpicky, but it's really more detail oriented. For this week, I just want you to focus on getting words on the page. All right, I'm really excited to hear about your experiences, and I will talk to you all soon.